Hi, I'm Rihanna and welcome back to my little place on the internet. Today I'm going to start the process of making a Jedi tunic costume for my husband. It'll be part of his Christmas present, and because it's for him and it's a surprise, I have to do it while he's at work, so he'll be very quiet in my craft room so he doesn't know what I'm making. But I bought the pattern online off Etsy. I'll put the shop name here. And because I bought it online, I downloaded it and printed it all out. So step one is going to be cutting it out, like sticking all the pieces of paper together and then cutting it out. I already hate cutting out patterns, so sticking it together and then cutting out is just a little bit of extra torture that I'm not looking forward to. But let's get started anyway. I've only got a few pieces cut out and stuck together so far, but I just got a call that my husband is finishing work early. He was to do a later shift today, but it's Sunday and it's quiet, so he's coming home early, which means I need to pack all of this up so he doesn't see it. Bummer, I barely got anywhere. It's currently December 8th, so it's cutting it very fine and doing it all in secret while my husband's at work, but also we have a lot of work hours that overlap, which also makes it tricky. So it's going to make it extra tricky to get this done. And particularly because I'm doing a lot of overtime this time of year, so I work a lot of extra hours too. So we'll see how my secret project goes. If not, it'll be like a belated Christmas present. It's a new day and I have basically all day to sew, so we're going to keep working on cutting out these pattern pieces and sticky taping them all together. There is so many pattern pieces, but we will get through it. So let's get stuck into that, and then hopefully we can cut out pieces and start sewing today as well. I got all my pieces cut out. So time to start ironing all this fabric to get it ready, and then we'll pin everything and cut it all out. And while we're at that, I'm going to be watching Doctor Who Christmas specials. I'm watching The Last Christmas. So I'm watching Doctor Who's Christmas specials while I do this because it's a Christmas present and it's the time of year to watch Christmas specials. I watch the Doctor Who Christmas specials every year. It's like my little tradition, and my family have always watched Doctor Who together, but then I've always re-watched the Christmas specials, and particularly this year because I'm away from my family, it's, you know, extra special to watch the Christmas specials. And that was a lot of Christmas and special in that sentence. And I'm currently starting with The Last Christmas. So that has Peter Capaldi and Clara in it. And as you know, if you've watched some of my other videos, my sewing machine is called Clara and my overlocker is called Peter, after the, well, one's after the character from Doctor Who, Clara, and the other one is after the 13th Doctor. The actor's name is Peter Capaldi, I think is how you say his surname. Anyway, so that's what they're named after. And I just love the Doctor Who Christmas specials. They're both filled with the magic and happiness of Christmas, but they're also filled with like the other feelings that you get around Christmas time, you know, like a little bit of sadness of, like The Last Christmas is about Clara's lost someone recently and she's like reliving / dreaming of having one more Christmas with them. And there's a few other like meanings and stuff, but you talk about the joy and the happiness of Christmas as well as, you know, missing people and that sort of stuff as well. So I love Doctor Who Christmas specials for that reason, and I always have. And I just love Doctor Who. So I'm just going to iron this fabric for a while until I've got most of the wrinkles out at least. And then I will pin it and cut it, and because there's so much fabric and so many pieces, I'm actually going to pin it and cut it out in my living room so I have more room to stretch it all out rather than here, because this craft room I don't have the most room. Oh joys, cutting the fabric out. Not my favourite part, but we got through it, and I've spent so long on this project so far today that I had to start another Doctor Who Christmas special. Now after I cut this out, I then sewed the front and back pieces together and one of the sleeves, and now we jump into the next clip. I've got one sleeve on. The other sleeve I have on, but I realised that I sewed it the wrong way around, so the seam is actually showing on the outside. So I am going to unpick this and then try again. The joys of sewing. And this is a very simple mistake, so it's usually one of those things I'd be like kicking myself about, but I don't really mind today. I'm not all that fussed. I'm having a lovely time sewing, a lovely time just watching Doctor Who Christmas specials, partway through my second one, and plenty more to go. And I have plenty more sewing time left for today as well, because it's currently 1:20 and I can keep sewing till about 8 p.m. So I'll see how much of this project I can get done. Ideally, I want to get a really big chunk of this done, but there's a lot of steps. I really just want to at least come very close to finishing the tunic. The robe, I haven't even printed that pattern out or cut it, so I'm not sure if I'll get that done for Christmas or not. It is currently the 14th of December, so there's not all that much time left until Christmas. I have both the sleeves fixed now, so they're both the right way around. And so then we're left with this, where it's semi coming together, but not really yet. So what we do is we flip it inside out, and we're going to sew along here all the way down and down the side. So we'll stitch up the sleeves and the side of the shirt. So you'll see what I mean when I finished. We'll first pin it all together, sew it all together, and also between all these steps, iron as well. It is now 2:30 and we've made some good progress. We have the outside of the tunic all sorted. We've got the sleeves all sewn together. The sides are all sewn up, and we've got the neckband attached. Now it's on to doing the lining for the tunic. So basically it's very similar steps to all of this, so it should be pretty easy to do. Just lots of pinning and a little bit of fiddly work. Then after that, I think we attach the lining to this, and I'm not really sure what the steps are after that, because there's still so much fabric that I've cut out laying around everywhere. So there's still so much to do, but we are slowly getting through it. I'm very hopeful that I will get this, or at least most of this, done today, because it's only 2:30 and I've got all the way to like 8 p.m. So we'll keep soldiering on. I'm making really good progress. I have the sleeves on the lining, but as you can see, there's a big hole, and that's from my overlocker. When I was overlocking, I had fabric bunched up and it went through. This is the first time I've ever done this, and I've always known this is a possibility. Now, ordinarily you just have to sort of start over, but because this is just the lining, I'm just gonna patch it. I'm just gonna cut out a little piece of fabric and sew it on top of it. I know it's not gonna be the prettiest, but I'm just gonna grab, obviously I'll trim this to size, and I'll overlock the edges of it, and then I'm just gonna place it on and sew over the top of it. Most of the things I make have little flaws in it. There's just going to be a little bit of a bigger flaw, but you won't see it because it's the lining, and it'll be on the inside, and it's also at the back, so if you're wearing it, then you'll never see this. Well, that was a little side quest, but my patch is on. It only took a couple of minutes. It's on. The underside's not that pretty because there's the rip, but it's there, and you're never going to know about it. You guys wouldn't know about this unless I was mentioning it. So now we go on to the step where we sew up the sleeves and the sides of the shirt, and then that's the last part to construct the inside, and then we're going to attach the inside to the outside, and then we're getting close to done. I think there's like a fair few steps still to go. So we will see how long this takes. And then I have a lot of fabric still left to sew with. I'm not sure. There's like heaps of pieces to this. I'm not 100% sure what all the pieces are. But this is the outside main tunic bit. And then we've got inside pieces that you layer and a belt to do. At least I'll get this done. This sleeves are sewn together. This is what it looks like because it's all inside outside. Let's flip it to the right side and see how we are looking. Perfectly finished with no seam at the bottom because it's inside, all tucked away and hidden. This is the first time I've done something like this and I love it. It'll make it a bit thicker. It's more like, this is how like a jacket is made. So it is a bit thicker, but that's fine. Ooh, if you wanted to make something like this but thinner, I very much recommend this pattern. I'll put up who I got this pattern from here again. I very much recommend it, and if you did want to make it a bit lighter weight, you could just not do the full lining, and you could even alter this and make this into this is how jackets are made, I'm realizing. Ooh, I very much like. And it has a little bit of a flare to it, but not as much as the big. So this is like the tunic thing. Forgive me, people that like Star Wars. I'm not very knowledgeable with the terms. And then the robe has more flared arms, but I like this. And I think it's gonna fit my husband fine. Now I believe we just need to fix up hemming the bottom. I'm not exactly sure how we go about doing that, so I'll have a read of the instructions, do that, and then we have to do the what's called the dicky and the tabard and the belt. We're going to get this done today. It is 4:05. We are going to keep going. We have 4 more hours. I believe I can get this done. I might even be able to run out to the shops and get some ink for my printer to do more printing, to print the robe, and might even get the fabric to do the robe. We're going to get the whole thing done by Christmas. We can. Let's keep going. Okay, so this outer bit here is the tunic. This is the tabard. This is the belt or sash, and then this is the dickard. I have the tabard, something like that, piece done, which is basically just a simple rectangle. So I just have to finish the sash, which will be very similar to doing that. I've started the dicky, which is the under tunic, basically like a little shirt thing. Now I'm just going to finish this off and do the sash. I haven't hemmed this yet. I haven't hemmed the main thing yet, but I think that I just want to get the main elements done because hemming is really quick and easy. I can easily do that on like the day before Christmas sort of thing, but I want to get all the main elements done, so I'm not going to waste time hemming. I'm just going to get everything else done, which is very doable because it's 5:15, so we still have plenty of time. The only thing I've done since I last updated you was cut out the pieces for the sash because I had forgotten to cut them out before. There's 2 pieces for the sash, so I've cut them out, and now I think I'm actually going to take a little bit of a break and go to the shops to pick up some fabric for the robe because I don't have enough fabric for my robe. It's going to be in the same colour as the sash, but I'm going to go pick that up now, have a little bit of a break and get back to it because it's 5:30. So I've spent a lot of time sewing, so I think I need just a bit of a break, and driving to the shops and back will be a much needed break. But I'm so happy with how quickly this has come along. I know I've spent basically all day since 9 AM sewing, so it has been a lot of time sewing and piecing pattern, like not just sewing, cutting out and putting the pattern pieces together has been so time consuming. I love this pattern that I'm using, but I'm not a big fan of online patterns. I don't think this is the first time I've had one, and it's really painful to print it all out and piece it all together, and I still have to do that for the robe. I also need to get ink for my printer in order to print out the pieces for the robe, so I'll do that as well. Good morning, it's another day in paradise and we're back at sewing. I did do a little bit of sewing last night after I got back from the shops, but not all that much. It was mostly fiddly work. I made these little strap things to put on the under tunic thing, and that took a lot of effort, and then I attached one, but I still have to attach the other three. So this is one attached. So yeah, it just dangles off there and then you tie it on the side to the other one. Then I just have to hem all of this, which I've done on the bottom here. So that's just neatly hemmed. And I started to do this side when actually the thing that stopped me was, one, it was getting late, and two, I ran out of bobbin, which is always a sewer's worst nightmare. It's always so annoying to run out of your bobbin. And it was partway through sewing this hem, like I ran out here and I didn't notice till about here. So I ran out here and didn't notice till here. So not the biggest, like I didn't sew for ages before I ran out. I got partway through and I was like, something is not right. So we'll continue with that. So this morning I'll get this finished and then I will move on to the belt, getting these finished. And then I'm not going to finish the tunic today, like the main thing, because all I have to do is hem the bottom, and I'm not going to worry about doing that today, because once I finish these little things, which hopefully shouldn't take me too long, it's just a little bit of fiddly work, I think. Once I get these done, then I'm going to print out the big robe, that's what it's called, the big robe. I'll print that out and start working on cutting that together, because that will be so annoying and very time consuming. So I'll work on getting that done today and then see if I even have time to start cutting it out. We don't have as long today. It's 9:30 and I only have until about 3. We have the sash all sewn around the edge and its pleats done. I left a big opening here so that we can fold it. Just make sure if you're ever trimming edges and you have an opening somewhere, don't trim near the opening because you need plenty of space there in order to sew it up. Alrighty, we have our edges trimmed. Now we can flip it. Now we have the belt. It sort of just flops like this. Now we will just sew up our opening. If you don't want it to show, then you could do it on hand stitch it, but I hate hand sewing, so I'm just going to do it on my sewing machine. And then it's recommended by the pattern as well that you just sew little bits to this, just like tack it down so that in different locations, so it causes like a nice wavy pattern on it. But I think that's one of those things that is like a final small step that I'll do when I sew up the bottom. I just want to get the majority of this project done. Hey guys, so I'm in my living room / office where my printer is, and I've just printed out the first 2 pages just to double check that it's the right centimeter marking. Yep, so I've got my little ruler and that is exactly 2 centimeters. And we'll double check the 1-inch box as well. And the 1-inch box lines up perfect too. So I just printed the first 2 pages because this is a very long document. There's like 60 pages, which means a lot of printing. This is just like the instructions and the layout, which you don't really need, but it has the centimeter and inch check point on there. So that's why I printed this sheet out. So now that I've got the first 2 out and they are perfect, I'm going to print the rest of this out and then start sticky taping it together. Joys! And I'll probably do that in my living room because learning from last time, and these pieces are way bigger than the other ones, learning from last time, my craft room just doesn't have enough space, so we'll sit on the living room floor and do that. You can probably hear my printer going in the background. There's still lots more pages to print, but I've just got a bundle of them here and we're just going to start putting these together. And while we do, I'm going to watch another Doctor Who Christmas special. This one I'm going to watch is The Time of the Doctor, and this is also one of my favourite ones that I forgot to mention. So the only one not on ABC iView, which if you're in Australia, it's like free, and that's what I every year use to watch my Doctor Who Christmas specials. The only one not on there currently is A Christmas Carol, so that's one of my favourites, but this one also I love so much, and I love the music in it. I listen to the music on it on repeat all year round. So have fun, watch a little time lapse of me while I start piecing these together. It's just gone past 1 and I have finally finished cutting out all those pieces. Now to get sewing, so we have just under 2 hours, so we'll see how much we can get done. There's not that many steps in the robe. There's a lot less steps than everything else. So I'm very hopeful that I will be able to get it done or very close to today. So let's just soldier on and see how far we can get. First step is sewing up and then overlocking the 2 back pieces together to form 1 piece of fabric. So let's do that now. There is so much fabric here. It is hard to work with, but we are making fantastic progress. We've just sewed both the sleeves in, and now I'm just going to iron those seams and open them up. Then we get to sew up the undersleeve and all along the side of it on both sides. That'll be a lot of sewing, but I'll pin it all first and then sew it up. And then all we have to do is hem the bottom and attach the hood. It is currently 10 to 2 and we are going to get this done today. So then all we have to do is to come back, we'll see how I'm feeling either Thursday night or next Saturday to do the final touches on the other pieces, which will only take like an hour top sort of thing, and then we will be done. Now I think I'm going to actually post this video on Christmas Day, because that way before my husband goes to work we're opening our presents before he goes to work, and then he can try this on and I can insert a little video of him trying it on. And that way if there's anyone else out there spending Christmas without their family, you can spend a little bit of it with me and I can spend a little bit of it with you guys. I am going to a Christmas lunch with one of my mum's friends who lives in Hobart. But other than that, and I will also see my husband in the morning and the afternoon. But it's my first Christmas like without spending Christmas lunch with some family. But I'm not really too upset about that because my little brother's alone as well, and we all just FaceTime each other as we open the presents we give each other. So it's still a nice day. And I've gotten through so many Doctor Who episodes this weekend with this sewing project. I've watched almost all the Christmas specials. I just finished another one then, just as I was overlocking this. And it's also very warm today because it is summer, so I'm looking forward to being done with all this fabric and the iron. It's a lot of fabric to work with. You'll notice that I also had my little table out for sewing, which is the first project I've used my table extension on my faff machine. It's fantastic. I really don't need it for my typical sewing projects because I don't usually work with this much fabric, but there's just so much fabric that it's nice to have that table for some added support. Let's pin this baby together and then sew it up. It's starting to come together. Can you see there's so much fabric you probably can't see anything except a ton of fabric. The sides and arms are sewn. Look at those. It's not done yet, but oh my gosh, it looks fabulous. It's really long, which is good because my husband's much taller than I am, but I have a feeling that I'm still going to have to hem it a bit on Christmas Day to make it a little bit shorter. Obviously, I still have to take the hem up, and I have to hem these as well. But I'm so thrilled with how quick it's come together. Obviously, I still have a few finishing things to do and put the hood on, which is not a finishing thing. But I'm very happy with the progress. It's 2:10. So let's move on to the hood now. Oh, actually, I still have to overlock the seam. You can see it's fraying, whereas you can also see my overlocked one, which looks fabulous. So we'll overlock these, then we'll attach the hood, and then we might call that a day because I think that'll get us close to 3. Then I can start cleaning up this mess so my husband doesn't know that I'm making him something. So I'll clean all of this up because it is a mess. Like, I have so much stuff in the living room and I have so much stuff here. There's just so much mess. So we'll do that. We'll overlock, do the hem, and then I'll come back. I think I'll not do it Thursday night. I think I'll come back fresh Saturday and spend Saturday doing all the finishing things. The hood is on. It's 2:40 now and I have the hood on. I have it all sewn up. Ready? Look at that! Oh my gosh! I'm very happy. I'm so happy with what I've done and my progress. All I have left, hi Bluey, that's just my dog that walked in. All I have left is to do the seams on everything. So I have to overlock the edges of the hood, all down the side, sleeves and the bottom, and then hem it all. I have to hem the main tunic piece as well. The bottom of that only is all I have to hem, and then I just have to add a couple of little stay stitches in to create the wrinkle pattern in the belt to make it lay nicer. But the vast majority of this project is done. So this has been a very long project, but there's been so many pieces. But I will be back on Saturday with you guys again, and we will do the final steps, and then I will edit this video, do my final thoughts, and then I'll post it on Christmas Day because I'll add in a little clip of my husband, hopefully all dressed up in this costume. We'll see how we go. Hopefully now I just have to hope that it all fits. Obviously this for sure, and I'm fairly certain all the other pieces will fit nicely. I may still have to do some adjustments later, but at least the bulk of it will be finished, and then I get to wrap it up and give it to him for Christmas. I'm so excited. He's gonna love this. Oh, and I still have the not so fun part of I have to clean this room, pack all of this up and clean the other room so that there's no evidence of my secret craft project laying around. All of the fabric and everything goes in the wardrobe, and I've told Jessie that I have presents not wrapped in there, so that's where I'm putting all the fabric and everything, and then all the scraps and everything else I just need to tidy up. Good morning, it's the Saturday before Christmas. It's about 10 a.m, so I'm getting a little bit of a later start to finishing off these projects, but they will be finished today. I'm so excited. Final touches today. I did run in to the city this morning to go to the market, and I got 2 big bags of cherries for Christmas. One is for eating before Christmas and one is to take to the Christmas party that I'm going to. So I'll be sewing and munching on cherries today. So let's get stuck into it. I'm so excited that it's almost Christmas. I can't wait for my family to get the presents that I've made them. I've put so much love and thought into all the presents I've made this year, and I'm really excited. This is my big bundle of all the stuff. There's so many pieces to this. I forget exactly what I had to do on all of them, which isn't a great sign. Okay, this one just needs cutting, like the threads cut off it. So that can go in the mostly done pile. This, I need to finish the bottom. I'll have to do this last because I need to change my thread colour in my machine. So it can go in that pile. This is done, just needs another iron and thread cut check. This, we need to sew the little channels in. And this is the main one. I need to overlock the edges of all of this and hem it up. So we will start with this because it's going to be the most time consuming of it all. So we'll get this out of the way first. And also I have a feeling this will be the least frustrating. I've been putting this off because it's confusing and frustrating to me, because see how this sags? It's sort of, you're going to lift it and then like sew in different places to create like texture, like you just do a little bit, and it's just fiddly work, this. I was incorrect earlier when I said I'd started this project today at 9 a.m. It's actually 10 a.m. and I have hemmed everything. Now I'm just going to iron it so I can hem it all, because I would like a nice hem on this. I have also decided that I'm not going to hem the bottom of this because I'd like for Jesse to try it on so I know how it fits him and then what length to hem it, because I think it's very, very long, this, which is good. Always easy to take more off than not enough, like than it being too short. So that's why I don't want to just guess at how long to make it. So I won't hem the very bottom. I will hem the rest of it. And then if there's any of it that's just way too long still, I can then come through and adjust that later. And I do have my handy dandy ruler, this little slide ruler that I use. So I've marked where I want to have the hem fold to. So that way it's firstly for the sleeves, so both sleeves are even with one another. And then just for it in general, so the bottom of it is even, so it's even all along. So yeah, I think today is sort of like the boring part of the project. It's the part where we do all the finishing, but it has to be done. And today I'm also going to be finishing a scarf that I've made to take to Christmas. And I've made that one for my mum's friend who I'm having Christmas with, because I just think that handmade gifts are the best. Okay, now this sleeve is all hemmed, and I am, even though it's nice and ironed so it should hold its shape, I'm still going to add some pins into it just so it doesn't lose that shape. Now I will iron the rest of it. So I have the second sleeve to iron, and then I have up the sides and all along the hood, so that's all one big piece. I'm quite enjoying this project. It's been really nice actually. There is a piece missing. I haven't done pants, but I just, firstly, this pattern didn't come with the pants, and secondly, Jesse has some pants that would work in very well with this already, so he can just use those for the time being, and I could make pants down the line if I choose to. But for now, I'm very happy with this. It's been really fun. It has been interesting working with so much fabric though. Like the fabric and the ironing just feels never ending with this. Particularly on this piece, there's just so much fabric. Now, another thing I watch every Christmas, along with the Doctor Who Christmas specials, is I watch The Polar Express. I know it's a kid's movie, but I absolutely love it. I've been watching it since I was little. My Oma used to watch it with my brother and I every year. And since she's passed, I've just kept the tradition alive by watching it every year on my own. It's just one of those movies that brings back so many good childhood memories of just sitting and watching it with her. And so Oma is what I called my grandma. So I'm going to start watching that while I finish ironing this. The Polar Express also, I just adore the music in it. I've been playing it on the piano for years, same as Doctor Who. I just love listening to the soundtrack of both Doctor Who and the Polar Express. I listen to the soundtrack, I play it, I think it's just stunning, and the storytelling in the Polar Express is beautiful. It is all hemmed except the bottom, but I'm not doing that yet. So let's try it on again. Oh, there's threads right here. I think that was my imagination. So let's try it on. So this is the belt thing all pinned up. So every place there's a pin, I'm just going to sew a couple of stitches, not many, just a few to hold it in place in those locations, and that'll keep this flowing look. So I think I'm happy with how this looks. If I'm not, I can always unpick it at a later date. But this is what we're going to go with for today. Another element complete. I do really like how it looks with all the little stitches in there. Now, I'm pretty sure the pattern has you actually like hand stitching so you can't see, but I did such little stitch lines and you cannot see them when you're looking at it. So I'm lazy, I hate hand stitching and I will avoid it, and I don't think it turned out bad just doing it with my machine. So I'm very happy with this. It gives it like that worn, it's fallen in its place look. Is me finishing a scarf I was weaving as a Christmas gift. Just the last few lines of weaving, then I will unravel it all. Then I'll use my fringe twister machine to twist the fringe to get a nice finish on it. Now on to the final thing, and that final thing is this. It's the tunic. We just have to stitch up the bottom. I have hemmed the bottom slash stitched it on the inside, so now we're going to flip it. I left a little opening here, and now we're going to flip the whole thing through this opening and hope that that worked. Let's see how we go. Look at me go. I'm so surprised and happy with how everything's turned out. I cannot wait to see Jessie try this on. Very good. Now I just need to, before I close up that bottom, I'm just going to pull out all the corners. So as you can see, that corner's not fully out. So I'm just going to pull out all the corners, give it a nice iron, and then we'll close up that bottom. And I know I said I hate hand stitching, but I actually am going to hand stitch this because there's no, you don't see any other here, and I don't have any thread that matches in well with this, so it'll stand out a lot. So I am going to hand stitch this from the inside so that it is all sewn up, but you can't see it from the outside. It's all hand stitched together. You can barely even see my hand stitching marks. So that is a wrap. Everything is done. I finished the scarf. I finished the whole Star Wars tunic and robe project. I'm so happy, and I'm so happy that you guys could spend the day with me, whether it is celebrating the Christmas day with me or any other day. I'm happy you've come along with my little Christmassy vlog, and I've just finished the Polar Express, so it's a full wrap up to my Christmas adventures. I really enjoyed this project. It was a lot, there was a lot of pieces, but it was really fun. It wasn't too challenging of a project. I didn't follow the pattern to a T, but I followed it fairly well, I think. It was a very well laid out pattern. I highly recommend it. The instructions, there's so many instructions and they're very straightforward. I wasn't confused at all. I get very confused by the big 4 paper patterns that you just get from the shops. But the instructions were very clear, very straightforward. And the lady who runs it is very helpful as well if you have any questions to ask her. So I very much recommend this and I loved it. I'm not the biggest fan of having to piece all the pieces together, so probably in the future if I did another pattern like this, I would actually go to like a print shop and print it out on bigger pieces of paper so there's less to stick together rather than just using a home printer. So that would be something I'd look to do instead. But thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you're celebrating Christmas or any other holiday, I hope you have a wonderful holiday, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!